Why the fuck do we need to fucking do whatever they want, dude? Oh, don't do this because I'm just gonna move my investment somewhere else? Fuck off!
I don't think there's a good argument to be made that it raises revenue because of how difficult it is to evaluate billionaires' wealth. It disincentivizes investment. You're going to decrease long-run growth. We look at billionaires. Our problem shouldn't be that they invest a lot. That's one of the good things they do.
What does GDP stand for?
Growth.
I don't think this is a tax being levied on net assets. I think it's just a higher marginal rate.
That's your problem on net assets? That's where why do you think that's detrimental? Like why would that be the problem?
You realize that wealth taxes are taxes on unrealized gains, right? Like a wealth tax levied on somebody's net assets.
No, a wealth tax
including
is
unrealized gains of their stock portfolios.
That's okay. Well, that's your opinion. GDP growth. I don't have the fucking definition on me, dude. Here, let me Google real quick.
Okay, let's take. The fuck is Bimmy saying? You're all gay. Wait.
You're all gay.
Can you hear us now?
Hey.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. We can hear you as well.
Being
okay,
gay's
brilliant. Okay.
Why is Potato here?
He's one of the judges.
Oh,
he's a third judge.
Dude.
I'm going to fucking kill you because I've literally been messaging you for the last 3 days, telling you to pick your judge, do this, do that.
I'm kidding. I don't care. It's okay.
I don't care. And then, yeah. All right. Oh, okay. Awesome. So, judges, you're not going to be muted today. We're trying something a little bit different than we usually do. Okay. We're going to give an opportunity for the judges to interact with the debaters just a little bit.
Oh, no. All right, go ahead.
But not a lot, don't worry. Obviously, this is about the debaters, so they're the ones who are going to be involved with this. All right. So, welcome everybody to Debate Deathmatch episode 13. Today we have with us Nonfon and Bimmy. Brilliant. Okay, so this one should be amazing considering we've got somebody who would be classified as being good faith and we have somebody who's an absolute fucking asshole. Okay? So that's the brilliant part of this. The prompt today.
I know you were talking about Nonfon, dude, not me.
You can suck a dick right now and let me finish my goddamn fucking introductions. Yeah. Okay, here we go. So the prompt for today is taxing unrealized gains, implementing wealth taxes, and raising high corporate taxes are detrimental economic policies. And on the affirmative, we have Nonfon. Up in the left-hand corner, and when Bimmy decides to actually turn on his camera, considering he's legitimately a fucking streamer,
I'm trying to fucking start my stream, dude.
Put your fucking pants on and turn your fucking stream on. Yeah, okay, so he's going to turn his stream on in a little bit. And yeah, so he's going to be taking the opposition of that prompt. We're going to give a chance.
Hold on, because I'm a little slow.
You're a little bit stupid.
Detrimental means bad, right?
He's such an idiot. Wait. He's such an idiot.
Detrimental means bad, right? Okay. Good.
Yeah.
We could have just said that. These are bad economic policies. That's it.
Detrimental. I like that word.
Detrimental takes it a step ahead, okay? It's not just bad, it's detrimental. It results in the destruction. Yes, okay.
Negative effects. Okay.
Yeah, so it's bad. Really, really bad. Okay, brilliant. Glad we got that out of the way. Okay, like I said, and then we have our judges. So for on the left, or for the affirmative, we're going to have Nadar. For the opposition, we're going to have Stranger. And then as a neutral judge in the middle, we're going to have Potate. Okay, so these are our three judges.
Stranger's my judge?
I'm going to murder you in your sleep while I play GTA. Next time I fucking tell you 3 days ahead that you need to choose your judge, maybe you'll fucking listen to me, you piece of shit. Okay. Yes, Stranger is your judge, and you should be grateful. Okay. Thank you, Stranger, for being here.
I like Stranger.
On behalf of Bimmy, you should like Stranger.
He's gay.
Gay is okay.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with sucking a bit of D.
Don't tax unrealized gains.
Exactly. You need to you need to tax those gains, if you know what I mean. Bimmy, you realize we're waiting on you, right? You realize.
I'm trying to. I'm not going to be able to turn on right now.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Then we'll go to opening statements. We're going to give it over to Nonfon. You've got up to 10 minutes to give us your opening statements, and then we'll give the equivalent to your opponent. So go ahead, Nonfon, take it away.
Okay. Hopefully I can do this less than 2 minutes. Okay, it's long. All right. I'm not opposed to decreasing inequality, nor am I in favor of giving money to the rich in hopes that benefits trickle down. However, this does not preclude that some taxes aimed at decreasing inequality have more costs and benefits and harm the very people they're trying to help. There are many taxes, like a land value tax, that would decrease inequality and are economically efficient. But for this debate, I like to focus on 3 taxes that are not so economically efficient. Firstly, taxing unrealized gains taxes away more money than realized gains at the same rate, since the money you pay on the unrealized gains every year cannot compound. Realized gain taxes also have a lock in effect, which disincentivizes people from selling stocks that they already own and don't discourage buying risky or volatile assets. The value of stocks also comes in large part from companies' expected future profits, which often fail to materialize. If IMB shareholders had been taxed on their unrealized gains, the IRS would have taxed expected profits while leaving the shareholders to burden both the tax and the losses later incurred from the rise of Apple. Therefore, taxing unrealized gains would disincentivize investing more than a realized gains tax, and incentivize people to hoard money under the mattress or with low risk bonds, deriving the market of financial capital, particularly affecting high risk, high reward startups. Not only would such implementation of such tax likely decrease stock prices in the short term as people and companies sell off stocks to avoid paying future taxes, but long run growth would also suffer. The tax will also place foreign savers at a relative advantage, meaning there's more investment will come from foreigners, causing a reduction in America's income over the long run as investment returns flow to foreign investors over American savers. Second, the general rule of taxation is if you tax something, you get less of it. If you tax wealth, you get less wealth. You directly disincentivize investment and wealth creation, robbing the world of valuable companies and ideas, harming long-run growth. Wealth taxes also are notoriously hard to implement and difficult to enforce. That's why multiple OECD countries have repealed their wealth taxes. Some level of capital flight is inevitable, and rich people have all the resources to deploy an army of tax lawyers to avoid paying as much tax as possible. Not only does this make wealth taxes ineffective at raising much revenue, but it increases deadweight loss as government and private tax lawyers play cat and mouse games of evaluating billionaires' wealth and when their time could otherwise be spent in a more productive sector. It's sometimes suggested that a wealth tax would encourage investors to invest in more productive assets rather than low-yield bonds. However, the opposite is true. The fact that these investors have already chosen to forego the high-yielding investments suggests that the extra return is not enough to compensate them for the risk or volatility associated with those assets. Reducing the after-tax return of these investments with a wealth tax will only reduce the number of investors willing to accept high levels of risk and volatility. Wealth taxes also show a small effect in inequality. There's a study that estimates the effects of a Swiss-style wealth tax, which is it's a lower tax base than Warren proposes, and it's at like 0.3%. Would lower the post-tax Gini coefficient by 0.004, and a Warren-style wealth tax, which is a higher tax base and higher rate, would only lower it by at most 0.0005. Thirdly, corporate taxes may be the worst of them all. Corporations are nothing but collections of people, and as such, the burden of these taxes falls on people, not corporations. The tax incidence of corporate taxes is divided between 3 groups: shareholders, through lower returns and dividends, workers through lower wages and higher unemployment, and consumers through higher prices. Whoever you want to tax, a corporate tax is not the best way to do it. If you want to tax shareholders, tax capital gains. If you want to tax workers, tax wages. If you want to tax consumption, there are a number of better alternatives like a value-added tax or Bradford X tax. Corporate taxes also directly disincentivize capital investment, which also, again, decreases long-run growth. In summary, I believe these 3 types of taxes are so economically inefficient that it outweighs any benefit they could have on inequality, which is likely low anyways.
Okay, thank you, Nonfon. We're going to give the floor over to Bimmy. Hey, Baldy, how you doing? Okay, brilliant.
Fuck off, dude.
Okay, go
Hold
ahead.
on.
Go ahead, Bimmy. You have
Alright,
1 second.
when it comes
One
to-
second. You have 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Go ahead.
When it comes to unrealized, probably the only tax that I do agree that it's very hard to implement, and I think we should find ways to do it better, but it's just never been actually implemented, is the unrealized gains tax. So that one I'm not even gonna try to argue. That shit is fucked. But the wealth tax. So Nonfront went to the Swiss model. We've had wealth taxes in America. We had one in the fucking 30s, which was extremely successful, right? Go look at it if you don't fucking believe me. But the one that I have right here, we just had one in Massachusetts, and Massachusetts did a wealth tax. Oh fuck, here it is. Massachusetts millionaire tax, wealth tax, which was passed by voters in 2022, has been called a success by some as an early victory. The tax adds 4% charge into income over 1 million per year, and it is first 3 quarters of fiscal year it brought 1.8 billion, which is more than expected. So you had like the Cato Institute and all the fucking right-wing bullshitters saying that you were gonna have a wealth flight, you're gonna have all this bullshit. Everything that Nonfon just said about the wealth tax didn't happen. They raised more money, which is more than expected. The money has been earmarked into education and transportation, and has helped fund programs such as free public school meals, improvements in public transportation, and tuition-free college education. Here in fucking in Massachusetts. Now, where is it? The myth of wealth flight. Wealth flight is an idea of that wealthy will leave the state or the country if taxes regulations come unfavorable. The myth has been used to prevent governments from raising taxes on the rich for decades. Research shows a real-world evidence suggests that taxing the rich will not result in exodus. Some reasons is why this include migration rate. Millionaires have slightly lower migration rate than the general population. People rarely move when they've advanced stage. They have an advanced stage in their career. Top income earners have often accumulated significant human and social cultural capital where they live. Location is very important in the world's richest people to place a great deal to do how to make where they're gonna make their millions. I agree with Nonfront. Taxes are just a way, like let's find better ways to fucking tax people so we have less wealth, income inequality. So we agree on that 100%. Corporate tax. I mean, you're gonna have to point at if you want to use American history. When we had the highest corporate tax rate is when we had the highest annual growth rate. 1960 to 1969 was the highest annual growth rate, economic growth rate in American history. Corporate taxes were, I think, 50%, dude. Donald Trump's tax cuts cut corporate tax rate from 35% to 21%, and we had a horrific. We didn't have economic growth, for the way, getting out of the way. But you know what these corporations did with the money? They just bought back their stock, dude. Straight up, they didn't reinvest back into the company. You didn't have this growth that people say that it's going to happen. In fact, you are the one who argues for Bidenomics. Joe Biden passed a 15 minimum wage, 15 minimum corporate tax rate in the infrastructure bill, and it's been a very good success. You accumulate a lot of fucking wealth, dude. I don't understand. I don't know where you're getting that the metric that you're talking about, but in American history, it's completely been disproven. In fact, the
30
tax
seconds.
Cut, I'm done. We'll continue.
No, continue. You have 30 seconds, bro.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
I think I said it.
All right. Awesome. Okay, so we have our opening statements from the panelists. We are going to go over to Nadar. Okay, so Nadar. We are trying something new, and I warned you ahead of time. This question can be irrelevant to the topic. You've heard their opening statements. You know the prompt. You know the topic at hand. Go ahead and direct
Boss.
our... 1 second.
My nephews are here, so I'm gonna be coming in and out, but I can hear you guys.
Okay, all right.
I'll be back. I can hear you.
Okay. So we are going to direct the conversation, Nadar, and I'm just going to keep talking for like a minute or two until this dumb son of a bitch gets back.
All right.
Yeah, so we want to ask a relevant question or an irrelevant question. Basically, the panelists get to decide if they want to continue on that train of thought. So they can engage with your they're going to have to engage with your question, but whether they continue the conversation moving forward is up to them, or they can direct it in any way they want to. So let's just Holy shit, the irony here. PPG is someone who, by the way, chat, you can all interact with the debaters. You can ask trivia questions or direct questions for the entirety of the debate. And they are going to be asked immediately to the panelists. So, okay, right. Can I just call them retarded? You can do that if you want. You can, if
Thank
you
you,
guys
Dubs.
want to do that. Okay, Nada, go ahead and ask your question.
Okay. Why do you feel that there should be a different tax percentage based on a person's wealth or income? Why should everybody not pay a flat, say, 10% tax of their income?
You
That
want me
is
to answer that?
equality.
Oh, I think that I generally think that wealth income inequality is complete. I don't know, generally think this is a fact. Dude. Wealth income inequality is it has horrific standards on for horrific like outcomes on the society. So a progressive tax, meaning people don't get out of hand and accumulate too much wealth, which is gonna foment wealth income inequality, and you don't have these fucking problems, would be a good thing. So I think the progressive tax is a good thing.
Okay, Nonfon.
There were arguments I've heard for a flat tax, but I would agree there probably needs to be a little bit of progressivity in the tax system just to make sure wealth inequality isn't too extreme. But also, I'd add just diminishing marginal utility. You know, $1 million of Jeff Bezos' income means a lot less than $1 million to a homeless person. There's diminishing marginal utility to the dollar as your net worth increases. So we should probably tax a higher percentage of rich people's taxes than poor people's taxes. There's also an argument to be made that as you get richer, you're probably taxing a greater percentage of economic rents as a proportion of their income. If someone is a multi-billionaire or whatever, they're probably earning economic rents from things like monopoly power, which you could argue should be taxed away more than poor people's money who aren't necessarily earning the same economic rents.
Okay, right. So, panelists, you can choose to continue on that train of thought if you want to engage with one another, or you can take it wherever you want to.
What do you think of the marginal tax rate, non-farm?
On what? Oh wait, actually, speaking of that, I want to bring this up early. You mentioned the Massachusetts tax, but it sounded like all they did was raise the top marginal tax. You phrase it as just like a surcharge on income tax past $1 million or whatever.
Yeah, it's a wealth tax.
Raising the top marginal tax rate on income tax is not the same thing as a wealth tax.
No. Well, that's what they're calling it, brother. It is a wealth tax, dude. I don't know. No, I don't think it was on income. I think it's how much wealth you own. So I think if you own it like more than like $1 million, I think you're gonna get charged like 2% or some shit like that. But it isn't. I know what you're talking about. Like it isn't on income. I don't think it's on income.
I mean, the way you phrased it, I wrote it down. You said it was like a surcharge on income
you-
tax.
do
I'm sure we
you
could
know about the
look it
Massachusetts
up.
tax? You could just read it. Yeah.
Well, okay, well we could look it up, but like, but when I talk about a wealth tax, I'm basically talking about a tax levied on your like net assets. I'm not talking about just a surcharge on income tax. There are issues with income tax, but like I have much less of an issue with income tax than I do with wealth taxes.
Okay, there
Yeah,
seems
and
to be
also you mentioned
there seems to be a disagreement or a misunderstanding between the two of you in the definition. In other words, Nonfon is using the straightforward definition of what you would think of when you are talking about a wealth tax, and it seems like Bimmy is getting confused. So
The
expand on that.
Massachusetts tax is considered a wealth tax.
Okay, when you say considered a wealth tax, what does it include?
it
Well,
says the
let's
first one
fucking
comes
read
up. The
it.
tax imposes a additional 4% charge in any income over 1 million a year. I don't think this is a tax being levied on net assets. I think it's just a higher marginal rate.
So that's your problem on net assets? That's why do you think that's detrimental? Like why would that be the problem?
I don't think there's a good argument to be made that it raises revenue because of how difficult it is to evaluate billionaires' wealth. I think it again directly disincentivizes investment. You're going to decrease long run growth. I think when we look at billionaires, our problem shouldn't be that they invest a lot. That's one of the good things they do. I think the issue is their whatever there is an issue, it's their ludicrous consumption. So we should just be taxing consumption Yeah.
Taxing consumption of taxing consumers.
I mean, consumption, yes, but that taxes income
It's when I'm
regardless of where you got it from.
okay. Let's go with okay. So it's income, right? But they put the tax on the wealthy. It's a wealth tax, isn't it?
The tax in Massachusetts, I think, was a 4%
Yes.
increase in the top marginal rate on income taxes, not a tax levied
Which
on net assets. I'm sure, as you know,
okay.
as the lefties love to point
Tax,
out, the way rich people avoid income taxes is that they can take their money in stocks
no,
rather
wait,
than
hold on,
income,
non-fun,
and then they
non-fun. But
only
this
pay
is the
taxes on
only
the
tax
realized
that
capital
affects
gains.
the wealthy, right? It's a wealth tax. That's what it is.
It's an increase on the income tax. It's an additional 4% surcharge on the top marginal rate. It's not a tax levied on the net assets of
what do you
wealth.
think taxes are? Like, okay, what do you think taxes are? We all pay taxes, right? But this particular tax is only paid by the very wealthy. And once you make over $1 million, this tax will affect you. It's a wealth tax.
It's a it's an income tax.
It's okay, that's fine,
It was
brother.
an
But
increase on the
that's it.
top marginal
I
rate of income
okay.
taxes. Is my
That's
understanding
fine.
from
That's
reading
fine.
this.
That's fine. That's fine. I have an income. Everybody here has an income. But that tax only affects you once you pass a certain threshold. That's a wealth tax, brother.
Okay. Do you agree that Jeff Bezos avoids paying taxes because he takes his money in stocks rather than conventional income?
That's why I didn't even want to fucking fight on the unrealized gains argument. I remember Mike from PA had a good debate with like Destiny. So like I would point you guys to go watch that. I have no idea how we're gonna do that. That's very hard to tax that shit, right? I wouldn't even pretend to know how to do it. But Massachusetts tax is a wealth tax. It goes over a certain amount, which what we consider wealthy is a fucking $1 million,
Of income.
you have a tax. That's
Okay,
fine.
okay, so
But it's a wealth tax.
Okay, Bimmy, are you saying that as long as a tax affects the rich and
It's
only the rich, then you would consider it a wealth
yes.
tax?
That
Okay.
I mean, I hope everybody does.
Okay, do you...
It only affects
I'm
the
not here to
wealthy.
debate. I'm here just to ask questions. So I'm a completely neutral party. So the idea is that do you consider, this is just a question, there's no right or wrong answer according to me. Do you consider a rich person having assets, so illiquid assets versus liquid assets, things that, and income? Do you separate
I
these
think
things?
you can separate them.
No.
But
Do you
you
separate them?
can.
Do you?
Okay, sure. There's something different between them, right? There's difference between them. But materialistically, no, there isn't. They still have a lot of wealth. It's much easier. I guess that's what Nonfon wants to hear. I guess it's much easier to tax income than the assets that you're talking about. If one day it'll get easier, because I do admit that it's very hard. I will go with like Bernie Sanders had a good idea when he was running for president, where it's every time I think the Norwegian countries, the Scandinavian countries have a tax on fucking Wall Street speculation. Like every time you buy fucking stock or trade or
Financial
whatever.
transactions tax.
Sure, I think what do you think about that one?
I haven't done a ton of it. I think there arguably should be a tax on some short term financial transactions.
It's
I
just
haven't done
like
like a
my
ton of
point
reading
is
on it.
that
But
my point is to just try
but
to get it. You know what I mean?
okay.
Like I know what you're trying to say. Like, but that's still wealthy, brother, and it only
Do
affects
you
the wealthy.
do you acknowledge currently that there are many ultra rich people who are able to
Yes,
pay less taxes than like
I
as a
know.
percentage of their income?
Yes, yes, I acknowledge
Okay,
that
you
they have
understand the
their
point of a wealth tax. That's what makes wealth tax different from income. The point of a wealth tax is to try to get them to pay the same effective rate as poor people. A wealth tax is a tax levied on their net assets in an attempt to get them to pay like the same effective rates. What you're talking about is just income tax. It's just a tax on your conventional income.
Okay, that's fine. Let's move away from that. You think that that's gonna be bad, right?
A tax levied on net assets.
Yes,
Yeah, basically, yeah. I think the cost.
because
I think the cost outweigh the benefits. Yes.
I have no argument to that, dude. Massachusetts is a fucking wealth tax.
Okay. Again,
Your
it's not a
argument.
wealth
I
tax.
know it is a wealth tax, brother. You're arguing that there's
An
a
income
difference
tax.
between if you work in it is an income tax, but to the very wealthy. I don't know what to say.
Additional surcharge
Okay.
on
Bimmy,
the income tax.
yeah,
If
Bimmy.
you want to call it if we instead want to talk about, if you want to pull out your own definition of wealth tax and say that's a wealth tax, that's fine. But the thing I'm concerned about is tax levied on
Not
the net assets of somebody above 50 million or whatever.
You're specifically talking about Elizabeth Warren's fucking plan. That's what you're specifically talking about, and considering a wealth,
no,
right?
just
Yes.
just a tax in that style. That's a tax on the net assets of wealthy people.
Okay, but that's true. A person with $1 million is also a wealthy person. That tax
But
is
you're
only
taxing
levied to them.
But you're taxing them on income. You're not taxing them on net
Okay,
assets.
brother, but that's you. Okay, that's I don't. Are you giving me your opinion or what is this?
I'm giving you a fact. The tax in
No, I
Michigan was an
understand.
additional
I
4%
understand.
surcharge on the top marginal rate.
Oh, that's fine. But it's a wealth tax, right? It's only levied at the very
No.
wealthy.
It's not
Yes.
levied on your wealth. It's levied on your income. It's levied on high income people, but it's levied on your income, not wealth.
Okay. Are you being like hyper specific, dude? Okay, you get your income, you accumulate that wealth, and then that's your wealth, right?
Do you understand the difference? Yes. But you understand the wealth is
Okay.
not being taxed there, just the income.
Okay, brother. But it only affects the very wealthy. I don't understand. Why
Yeah, it only
why
affects the
is
top marginal
you
rate of income tax there,
want to
sure.
describe wealth tax as what Elizabeth Warren was trying to tax. We've never seen it, dude.
What
In
everyone
fact,
agrees with.
hold on. Well, I would love to see it. I would love to see it because we don't have the actual data, right? You get your fucking talking points from Cato Institute. Do you know? Hold on. Do you know like the propaganda that was going on against this? I remember it very well, dude. Cato Institute was
how many
gonna
Cato
harm.
Institute things do you think I read preparing for this? Do you think I read?
It was gonna harm. It was gonna harm business. You were gonna have wealth flight. You mentioned wealth flight, which is a myth. You were gonna have all this bullshit, and nothing happened. You had, in fact, it was a huge success. People
Wait, what
didn't
are you
leave,
talking
and
about? You're talking about the Michigan tax, which is not a wealth tax. It's a tax levy. It's an increase in a marginal tax rate.
Okay, it's just a wealth tax, dude.
Massive.
To the very wealthy.
Tax on the. I would guess that a surcharge on the top marginal rate is going to lead to significantly less capital flight than a wealth tax. And like, I would also say
Why would you
capital
say
flight
that though? Why would you say that?
because there were because a wealth tax is a higher effective rate usually than just an increase in a marginal income tax.
Wait, what is
Even
the
if public
myth?
tax
What is the myth of wealth flight? That you're gonna be taxed in a certain state or country and you're gonna bounce. You just made a fucking stupid ass statement, right? That's what.
is this stupid?
Why
I
would
literally
this?
just said capital flight. Okay. Do you understand that even a wealth tax is going to tax people at a higher effective rate than just the income tax? Because on top of income, you're
What does
taxing
that have?
everything else they own.
Brother, that's fine. That's fine. But the argument, right, for capital wealth, for wealth flight, is that you're going to be taxed, and you don't get these taxes if you just fucking move. People don't fucking move. You just made a stupid statement. You have an argument for that? Where has happened where you had a fucking wealth tax and people, and there was there was capital
if we
flight?
tax people at a higher rate, they'll be more likely to move.
No. Wealth flight is a myth.
Yeah, you can keep saying that, but do
I gotta
you
grab a beer.
agree? Okay, wait, hold on.
I'll be right.
Okay. Okay, let me write this out. He either disagrees that people respond to incentives.
Okay, chat. You can ask. No, he didn't leave. He's just gonna go and grab a beer. Chat. Don't ask timed questions. Timed questions come at the end of the debate. Direct questions come now. Go ahead. Continue.
Okay, Bimmy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you agree that people respond to incentives?
People respond to incentives? Sure.
Okay, you
Sure.
agree?
It depends on what you're talking about.
Okay.
Hold on. No. It depends on what you're talking about.
In
It depends
economics.
on what you're talking about. I mean, sure. But wealth flight has been debunked. I'm giving you a study. You want the study?
Do you agree, yes or no, that people respond to incentives? Also, if your study's about Michigan,
okay, you're trying to strawman me. All right, fuck it.
Massachusetts.
Of course there's Yes, there are many.
Okay.
Right?
Do you agree that wealth taxes would increase the incentive to flee relative to other style of taxes?
No.
Do you agree that wealth taxes tax people more than income tax?
That's fine, dude. I mean,
Okay,
what
so
do you
you
want me to
agree
tell
that
you? I look. I mean, can I use? Can I
you should
use
say
Wait, can I just use like American history? Like we had higher taxes on way higher taxes on all rates, right? Corporate taxes. We didn't have wealth flight. We had wealth flight when we got fucking free trade deals, right? Like the state was completely bought and owned. You got NAFTA, CAFTA, trade relations with China. That's when you had wealth flight. You didn't have wealth flight just willy nilly, brother. Just people were like, you know what? I'm not. It's too high tax rate. I'm fucking leaving. And by the way, wealth flight isn't a problem, dude. If you don't want to stay, leave. They won't. That's why it's a myth.
why? Okay, so you agree that wealth taxes are going to tax people at a higher effective rate than income taxes, right? Or almost
Did
any
you
other
just
tax,
like
really.
not hear anything I just said? Like you
I'm
do
just
know,
trying to
like
nail you down in this
you're an
one point
American.
because
No, no,
you
no.
keep
Wait,
repeating dumb
you're
stuff.
American, right? You're
Yes,
American.
you
You
appeal
do
to
know that
history.
we
Yes.
had way
Oh my
higher
God.
tax rate. Yes. Well, why didn't we have wealth flight?
We probably did have some level. All I'm trying to get you to agree with right now is that
It's not going to
relative
be
to income
100%.
taxes, wealth taxes increase the incentive to flee. That's all I'm trying to get you to agree with. I've
Bro,
already told you.
okay, that is like that is a fucking unbelievably simplistic fucking statement, dude. Yeah,
Okay, then
if
you
you
should be able
tax
to
me,
agree
hold
to
on,
it super
hold
easily to
on.
me.
If you tax me at 2% or tax me at 3%, that 3%, I guess somewhere down in the back of my mind, right? I'm gonna be like, oh man, that 1%. Okay, sure. That unbelievably little difference. Sure, it exists. There you go, Nonfon. You got it.
Okay, great, phenomenal. Okay, we agree. Yes, wealth taxes increase the incentive for capital flight. Phenomenal. Okay, great.
Which is a myth.
You just agree that they increase the incentive for capital flight. I'll admit to you that like they've done studies on this.
It's a myth.
Like elasticity, the elasticity to taxation for capital flight is really low, and it's pretty low. It's even lower in the U.S. because we have such a strong economy and such high consumer demand that there are a lot of companies that will stay in the
Why
U.S.
bring it up?
Because I'm nailing you down into one point that wealth taxes increase the incentive to flee for capital flight.
See, brother, but that is such like, oh my god, like that is bad faith simplistic. That is
That's bad
okay,
faith
dude.
simplistic.
Like again, we have history, right? And you agreed we had way more taxes than what we have now, right? So you're saying, and we didn't have capital flight. It's a myth. It's a factual myth, right?
I mean, you probably
Capital flight
probably had
happened in
some level of
America.
capital flight, but
Okay, but like maybe incremental capital flight. Capital flight happened in a huge way when we had these trade deals, right? That's when you had actual capital flight. This is a fact.
I mean,
America lost its
I wanna
manufacturing
consider-
power.
I don't want to get into the free trade stuff right now, but I don't consider
No, but
I
you
don't consider
can't put
lowering
you.
increased
You
trade
can't.
like capital flight. Because
You
it's
had
for different reasons.
what?
Like lowering barriers to trade just lets the market work out. Like
What?
basically, okay.
Yeah,
if you lower barriers
Bimmy,
to
you
trade,
need
if we have free
to.
trade
Can
deals,
you quote this or cite this study that you're looking at, Bimmy, for the judges?
Which one?
I don't know. The one that you're referring to.
Massachusetts?
Yeah,
Okay.
just in the
You could
side
just
chat.
Google
But
Massachusetts wealth tax, brother.
okay,
Go on Google
All
and
right.
put Massachusetts
You're speaking
wealth tax.
directly to the judges right now. You've told them what to do.
Who the fuck was it? Nader?
No, just
okay.
okay. You continue.
I just want to I kind of want to nail you down this one point. My argument is that wealth taxes
wanna
would
get
basically
nailed.
lead to a distortionary level of capital flight. They'll lead to a level of capital flight that wouldn't have occurred if the market was allowed to function unfeathered. Free trade just lets the market function as it should. That's the discrepancy there.
Well,
Is that wealth
hold on.
taxes
Well,
are
let me ask
distortionary.
you something. Should we because this is the victim mentality, right? This is the don't make me fucking beat you. Please don't make me beat you mentality. If they don't want to pay, if you as a state levy a fucking tax, right? People vote for a tax and these people leave, then leave, brother. And if you can charge, if they have product or they don't want to invest, that's their fucking problem, dude. Right? That's their fucking problem.
What does that do?
Why do we have to? Why don't? No. This is like a side question. Why is your answer always kowtowing to these fucking capitalists? Because when you do that, it's a race to the bottom, right? You know that's what you're doing.
Okay, when people flee, what does that do to financial markets? What does that do to the supply of financial capital?
You tell me, because capital flight is a fucking myth in this country.
It decreases the supply of financial capital. Okay, so it makes starting a business harder. It makes investing harder. All of that harms long run growth.
Here, you look at that. You look at that. You know what I see? I see opportunity, dude. If these people want to leave and not invest, I see other investors who do want to come in and say, hey, there's still profit to make. This is why it's a fucking myth. This is the argument of why fucking capital flight, whatever, right, is a fucking myth. Because you're always under a capitalist system. There's always going to be profit to make. You're kowtowing to these fucking people who have accumulated a lot of wealth. It's the victim mentality. It's the please don't make me beat you, brother. See what I mean? It's a race to the bottom for everybody, dude. It only fucking strengthens and fucking gives these people more and more wealth. That's your argument?
More or less, there is a somewhat that does two things. One, it means over the long run,
guys,
that income will. Can I finish? Income will shift to.
After you.
Okay, income will shift to foreign billionaires and foreign investors over Americans' own local labor force, right? Secondly, it increases demand for the U.S. dollar, which appreciates. It appreciates the value of the U.S. dollar, which means the U.S. exports less and we import more. That increases the trade deficit and decreases GDP. There you go.
His solution is you have to kowtow to these fucking these
If
lords,
you want
right?
Nonfon.
That's basically his fucking argument is we need to kowtow to these lords no matter what. This is the again, it's the victim mentality, dude. When you don't really have to do that, capital flight is a myth. And if they want to fly, then fuck it, let them fly off. Maybe you'll have some reduction on in the markets, right? Who cares, dude? Your job as the state here in America is to lower wealth, income inequality, create infrastructure, create good standards of living. You can do that without kowtowing to some fucking capitalist, dude, that is only gonna try to enrich himself. I don't know what to tell you, brother.
All I'm trying to prove to you here is that there's a cost to these billionaires and rich people fleeing. There's a negative cost to
which they don't do.
That I understand the elasticity is low. Yes, I've already conceded the elasticity is pretty low.
Okay, so then why are you making this argument?
Because some level of capital flight will occur, especially because rich people have all the resources they need to offshore their businesses. Yes, some level. Okay,
yes. Well, you know what? Some level to me, I would rather tax these people, lower wealth, income inequality. The ones that don't leave, I'm pretty sure you're going to get some revenue. Do what Massachusetts did, right? Infrastructure, schools, parks, everything, right? I would rather do that than kowtow to these people who have immense power and have you hostage, brother. That's what you're trying to say. When you say shit like that, we're not their hostages, man. We shouldn't just be kowtowing to these ultra rich.
Okay. All I'm trying to prove to you is that there is a negative cost to billionaires fleeing, right? To capital flight. That this wealth tax, when implemented, will have negative costs. Okay, that's what I'm trying to prove to you.
With everything that we do, you're going to have negative. You're going to have positives, dude. I mean,
yes. The trade-off, yes. So what I try to get you to admit, and it seems like you have to some extent, is that there is a negative cost there. Okay. Now you were saying that negative cost.
Right,
will be
Nonfon, I have to stop you. I have to stop you. Right, you need to turn down that gain. I know chat has told you to turn it up, but you need to lower it. Yeah, that shit is screeching like mad. I'll monitor the voice if you need to go up.
Can I
no, you can't do anything. No, shut the fuck up. I'm the one who shut your mouth. I will fucking mute you. Shut the fuck up. He was on a point. I interrupted him. He's gonna finish his point. Go ahead, Nonfon.
Okay, what you're trying to say, now that we agree that there is a cost there, you're trying to say that the revenue benefits will outweigh the cost. I don't think that's the case because, one, I think you're underestimating the negative effects on long-run GDP growth. I think the Tax Foundation did their study, and I think it was 0.4% before 3% negative GDP growth.
Nonfon, you want to talk about
From Warren's-
GDP? We're going to talk about GDP. You're
Okay,
gonna are you gonna bring up actual history?
Yeah.
Thank you, Lanius,
You know
brother.
when we had
you are
when we had the
sponsoring
highest
us at this
GDP
point,
growth,
brother.
like annually
I know.
in the long run, right?
Yes. Okay. That doesn't
Yeah.
change that
So
mechanistically, wealth taxes
no, but
decrease
we
long
had
run
the
GDP growth.
highest taxes, like corporate taxes too. You don't like corporate taxes. We had the highest corporate taxes, dude. If FDR fucking had like 90% fucking sometimes corporate taxes, dude, and he broke the record in American history. You guys can look it up. It was a fuck 1 year. He grew the fucking economy 10% GDP, dude. I'm sorry, bro. This argument doesn't hold water.
Yes or no? Do wealth taxes mechanically decrease long run GDP growth?
I don't know about that particular tax, because that particular tax, brother, it just hasn't been tried in a large scale. You know what I mean? I would love a fucking for us to implement Elizabeth Warren's fucking wealth tax, and then we can see what happens. We'll test it. That's what everybody was saying about the fucking tax in Massachusetts. That's what everybody says about anything, right? You get fucking right-wing propaganda, you get left-wing propaganda. Why don't we just do it and we'll see the outcome? You think you have your opinion. I think it's gonna be fine. You won't have any capital flight. The people will just cry, bitch, and moan, but there's still profit to make. They'll pay it. Who cares? And nothing will change. You'll have you'll decrease the deficit. There you go.
Okay, before you answer, Nonfon, Lanius has paid for Mita's question. Okay, here we go. All right.
I love you. I love you, Lanius.
Okay, so in MA, okay, so both of you are going to respond to this, but this is for Bimmy, okay? So in MA, so Massachusetts, they imposed a surtax on any taxable income over $1 million. IRS data suggests that between 2021 and when the surtax was introduced in 2022, around 0.6% of the state's estimated income from taxes was reduced. And they are estimated to lose anywhere between $800 million and $1 billion a year as a result. How do you justify?
Where are you getting this? Wait, no. Because have you seen the new studies?
From the IRS. From the IRS data. Okay, so here's the question. How do you justify capital flight not existing when your own sources disagree with your claim?
Mida,
no,
you haven't seen the new data to this, right?
You're engaging with
your revenue. No, you had excess revenue. You about the same number that this motherfucker is bringing up. It was a net gain, dude. I know Mida, dude. Mida does this all the time. He cherry picks some bullshit thinking that he has a fucking argument. Go look at the excess revenue of what was presumed to have, I think it was like 1.3 billion. They thought it was going to be 1.3 billion. It ended up being almost 2 billion. He's being a cunt.
Okay,
by the way, hold on. No. Another point. What happened with that revenue that they picked up? They invested it. You had a wealth transfer. You might, again, I'm not saying that there isn't going to be wealth flight. There's going to be incremental, that is incremental money, by the way. You're going to have wealth flight, brother. You're also going to have other people coming in, right? Or you're going to have a net gain on that fucking tax. But the wealth that was transferred, listen to me, Mida, before you fucking start talking your bullshit. The wealth that was transferred from the rich, what they were able to get, the 1.9 billion, went into schools, infrastructures, parks, public parks, all good fucking things that improve the lives of Massachusetts. That's all that matters, brother. You got your metrics, I got mine. I think these are way better things than letting some couple of assholes accumulate a whole bunch of wealth. Suck my cock.
Okay, let's give Nonfon a chance to respond. Go ahead, Nonfon.
No, hold on.
No, you need to shut your mouth at this point.
Potato's a fucking Marxist. I want his take. Can we get? He's a judge.
No, shut the fuck up. Nonfon is here to debate with you.
I can hear you, Nonfon. I can hear you.
Okay. I mean, I haven't read the data on capital flight from Massachusetts, but I mean that's funny that is the case. But again, like this is not a wealth tax. I understand PPG has its own special definition of its wealth tax, but it was just a surcharge on taxable income. The the reason wealth taxes are proposed is because billionaires have lower taxable income than regular people. That's the whole issue that wealth taxes are trying to solve. So, yeah.
Okay.
I agree with what he's saying. I agree. This is why I agree that we need better ways of doing things. This wealth tax that he's talking about, the Elizabeth Warren wealth tax, it just hasn't been tried, brother. It just hasn't. Maybe we should try
Okay,
it.
yes,
We'll
I'm
see
aware.
the outcomes, right? And then you're gonna have a fucking Cato Institute bring up some fucking study, and Nonfon's gonna be like, look. When then if you actually dig a little further, it's like, oh, they left out this, which is what they do, and then you're gonna be, oh, wait, they were full of shit. That's what. But
Okay,
you know
Bimmy?
what? But the reason we can't try
True.
it is because it doesn't happen. Anyway, hold on. I want a Marxist view. Can we give a Marxist view?
No, you can
Just
shut the
quick
fuck
one.
up. The judges do not intervene. Shut the fuck up. We've got a question for you, Bimmy. Why do you think TB doesn't have any chatbots?
What the fuck is a chat bot?
And
that?
as a follow-up, Bimmy, why are you gay? Spelt
I'm not gay.
spelt with GHEY.
You have to add those at the end so people don't ban your ass.
Okay.
I've never been gay, but if I was gay, Hassan.
Okay.
Hassan.
What?
Yeah.
Nobody asked
It's
you
on.
that? Okay, right. Okay, guys, we're going to bring in, here we go. Patate, you're coming in now.
He's not gonna help me. I just want to.
Yeah, because you guys are going in circles. If I let you continue,
Wait, no, I
okay,
just gotta
finish
nail it
up.
down on one
All right,
point,
finish
please.
it. If you think
Okay,
he's gonna budge,
yes or
go
no?
ahead.
gay.
Bimmy, do wealth
Mhm.
taxes decrease investment? Do you think they're going to decrease investment and increase consumption?
They might decrease investment, but the world doesn't revolve around investment, dude. You can do a lot of things with the revenue that you're gonna be able to accumulate to help the general population, which we desperately need in America, dude. In many things, medical debt, student debt, whatever, dude. So I don't care. I don't want to fucking be curtailed by these lords. Why the fuck do we need to fucking do whatever they want, dude? Oh, don't do this because I'm just gonna move my investment somewhere else. Fuck off, brother. That's my take.
Okay, does the decrease in investment lead to a long-run decrease in GDP?
I seriously doubt it because I know American history, and in American history, there wasn't a lot of investment, especially in the fucking 1930s, when there was a huge wealth redistribution from the capitalists to the fucking working class, and it exploded GDP. So I don't think so, man. Where are you getting these fucking data? I know where you're getting it, but
Hold on.
I'm sorry, I don't
Nothing I'm
believe it.
quoting right now is data. Okay. All I'm trying to, I'm talking about like mechanistically, right? A decrease in investment will lead to a decrease in long-run GDP. If we're investing less in capital stock, in capital infrastructure,
Wait, GDP.
it is going to lead to a long-run decrease in GDP. That's the point I'm trying to get you to prove.
Well, okay.
Nothing I'm asking is data right
GDP
now.
GDP is
or history.
Okay. Okay, that's I mean, in my opinion, no. Because I know
Okay.
history.
Well, because you don't know economics. You don't know anything about economics. If you
No,
think
but
that a decrease in investment is not going to lead
listen,
to a decrease in
listen.
long-run GDP,
You
you're
think
just
that I don't know
you're just dumb.
you think that I don't know economics because you call yourself a Keynesian, but you're actually not, dude. You're fucking it's a mixture between Keynesian as in maybe some social reforms with let the market be, dude. Just let the fucking market be. I don't think that's Keynesianism, and it definitely wasn't Keynesianism when it was first implemented at all. Not even close. I'm sorry, brother. So you have your economics, I have my economics.
Not how economics work. I'm just. Do you know what the Phillips curve is?
The what?
The Phillips curve.
I don't know what the Phillips curve. Can you explain
Can
it
you
to me?
describe to me what elasticity is?
You tell me.
What are the components of GDP?
What are the components to the GDP?
Okay, I was just trying to prove that point. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Bring potato in if you want.
got
to.
Bimmy, what does GDP stand for?
Growth. GDP growth. I don't have the fucking definition on me, dude. Here, let me Google real quick.
Okay, let's take it over to Potato. We're going to bring in
Listen,
Potato.
but regardless of what it is, I know that it's a measure that we use, right? And I know that when we had higher taxes, that measure exploded. Not when we were curtailing to the market, which is what Nonfront opposes. You guys can look it up. The highest annual GDP growth rate was from 1960 to 1969. It was 5.9%. And the highest year, the year we ever had, was 10%. It was under FDR. All high tax, extremely high tax fucking circumstances, right? We had high taxes in those eras. I'm sorry, but his model does not lead to higher growth of GDP. This is bullshit.
Bimmy, do you think
Okay.
I disagree
Oh,
with what
shit.
you just said about the highest GDP growth being when we had high marginal tax rates?
No. We had higher marginal tax rates. We had corporate tax rates. We had FDR did a wealth tax. What
I'm aware.
yeah, it's fucking worked.
Okay, we can
We
come
had
back to
price
this.
control.
We can.
I
Okay, if I
disagree.
let you
Yeah, I'm
guys go on,
asking-
yeah, I'm gonna let you.
Okay,
Okay,
Potato, just give it to
Okay,
Potato, 'cause I
right.
gotta take a
So,
piss.
okay, so Potato, we're gonna bring you in. You're going to interrupt the conversation, and you're gonna ask the debaters a question, and obviously they're going to choose if they want to continue after they answer the question. But obviously they have to answer it first. So go ahead and ask your question, and we'll give it over to Nonfon to respond first.
The first question that I had was actually aimed towards PPG, so we'll just go ahead and do
You're cutting out a little bit, so try
my apologies.
Yeah, okay. So go ahead and ask
My first question was aimed towards PPG. My second question is aimed
You
towards
just got
Nonfront.
one question.
Or
One
okay.
one question. Yeah.
For shit.
Yeah.
Okay. I really got to get my first question out then. What are the policies that can be put in place to make sure that these taxes can be effectively implemented or not avoided?
You're asking that to me or Bimmy?
Asking that to PPG.
What are the tax? Like you would need the state to be functional, right? So Joe Biden right now, believe it or not, he has the most functioning IRS that we've had in a long fucking time, dude. Like they've been able to accumulate a lot of fucking taxes. You're always gonna have loopholes, brother. Loopholes are always going to be there, right? People are gonna try to cheat on their taxes, do all kinds of shit. You need the power of the monopoly on violence to come in and say, "Oh, you're not gonna do that." That's how you do it. You need a competent government,
Okay.
and you need a competent state, and you need some good institutions that will implement that will force those laws.
Okay.
Do you agree or disagree that wealth taxes generally have higher avoidance rates than other taxes?
Yes, no, I do agree on that one. Yes, that's what I mean.
Okay, great.
Yes, no, I do agree on that one
Okay,
because
second point.
they have like these motherfuckers are global capitalists. But I also don't think that we should kowtow to these fucking worms like you want to do, because
Okay, do you agree?
their objectives is to gain profit, right? They're not here to invest in small companies. They're not there to do any of that bullshit, dude.
Do you agree or disagree that wealth taxes are generally more administratively difficult than other forms of taxation?
As of now, this is why I want to implement Elizabeth Warren's fucking wealth tax. Yes, as of now, because we had a shift in our economy, brother. It happened in the fucking 70s and 80s, right? You had a shift in the economy. We went from an income-based economy to having people own much more stocks. The 1% own much more stocks, and they use capital gains, and then use loopholes. And it's very hard for us to fucking try to do something to them on that area, right? But again, why don't we just try and see what happens? I don't understand
Okay.
why you're giving me your opinion. Why don't we just try?
You say as of now, but do you agree or disagree that it's always going to be harder to evaluate a wealthy person's entire net assets than it is to evaluate somebody's, say, income?
We're in agreement on this issue. This is why I didn't want to debate unrealized gains, because unrealized gains, it's something that we haven't tried, dude. It's something that America just hasn't tried. But then again, we didn't try that. We didn't try a 90% fucking a 90% what is it? A 90% marginal tax rate until the fucking 30s, and it was hugely successful. Your argument is just don't do it because it might be wrong. That's a dumb argument, dude.
Yeah, that's definitely my argument. Okay. A, you
Okay.
realize that wealth taxes are taxes on unrealized gains, right? Like a wealth tax levied on somebody's net assets
No, a wealth
is
tax
including
is you're
unrealized
taxing
gains of
people
their
who
stock
that's
portfolios.
okay. Well, that's your
Two,
opinion.
that's how well I understand you have your own special definition of wealth taxes, but taxes levied on
No.
somebody's net assets is also a tax on unrealized gains. Secondly, I like somebody's net assets is always going to be harder to evaluate than just somebody's income or just somebody's property tax because all these things are in somebody's net assets, right? And there are huge issues, especially with private equity, of how you value somebody's net assets there. And that problem is especially true for rich people because they're the ones who hold the tax lawyers who can fight with the IRS about the true
See, everything
valuation
that you're saying,
things.
is
And then also,
it's not that it doesn't work. It's that they have the power under the corrupt American system to avoid these taxes. To which I tell, yes, dude, yes, you're right about that. Why don't we just bring in a functioning state and force them to do it the way we've done it in the past? Your argument is just the way the system is right now, horrible and terrible. It was like that for a long fucking time, brother. And we changed from one to the other, right? That's your argument. Yeah, they're gonna get lawyers. Okay, then fix the judicial system, dude. So they won't fucking do what they're doing, brother. Your
my
argument
argument
is
is
it's. Go ahead.
my argument is wealth taxes are always going to be more administratively difficult than like almost any other type of tax. That's my argument in this respect. And that administrative difficulty results in direct cost. Like it makes the actual cost of implementing the tax much higher because you have to pay all these new IRS agents to go after these wealthy people. That is A, I
What
mean,
does
it's
that
all
have to
dead
do
weight
with anything?
loss. And
Good.
B, it
Fuck it.
undermines the effectiveness of the tax at raising revenue. Like that's why most places that have wealth taxes, they don't raise much revenue.
The
Wealth taxes are
problem with
not super great at
the
raising revenue.
well, let me tell you this because
Wait,
you know that the super
I just want to
wealthy.
cite one thing. Can I just cite one thing? Like as an example, we can look at estate taxes. Estate taxes are just wealth taxes. They're just wealth taxes that occur one singular time after somebody has died and they give their estate to their kids or whatever. If you look at like people who die in the Forbes 400 list, the taxes they pay on their estate is usually valued 40% less than what Forbes valued them at. So that's evidence that wealth taxes will have very high avoidance. And there's also other countries that we can look at where wealth taxes had very high avoidance. Yeah. Okay.
Wait. Do you know about buy, borrow, die?
Yeah.
And does that affect what you just said right now?
Not particularly.
And the very rich who own that type of capital tend to do bar and
Buy,
pretty much
borrow, die.
all
Yep.
of them do it. Yeah.
True.
Okay.
Okay.
So then
And
it doesn't affect them, right?
what do you mean
Are
it
you
doesn't
talking
affect them?
about like
A wealth tax would
if you
affect that. I'm. You realize the die part of buy, borrow, die. Like the die, they're taxed on the dying. That's what the estate tax is.
what is bar, borrow, die?
Okay, buy, borrow, die. Basically, rich people get their income from things like stocks, from like assets that appreciate, and they can borrow money. They can take out loans with the stocks or whatever
Yes,
as
yes, and so
collateral, and they
yes.
never pay the capital gains taxes on those assets that are appreciating. And then when they die, they can pass their estate onto their kids, who
Good.
then don't pay the
Heirs.
capital gains tax, but they do pay the estate taxes on it. Which is why I'm in favor of relatively high estate taxes, by the way. But
The death tax you're talking about, right?
estate
They
taxes,
call it
death
the
tax, yeah.
Republicans call it the death tax. Yeah. Okay. Well, no, I mean I agree with you. Again, my point is that we just have never tried it, but why don't we just fucking try it and see who's right? Because we just haven't tried it in America, dude.
Okay.
We don't know how it's going to
There
work.
are many states that have tried wealth taxes. Most of them repealed them. We are seeing more states implement wealth taxes.
Like
Now.
Massachusetts.
Secondly, there are
No,
a
wait.
lot
But
of
this is what I wanted to tell
OECD
you.
countries.
This is what I wanted to tell you.
There are okay.
Hold on. Let me, because I forgot. I remember the question. You do know that that we are becoming a much more unequal society, right? Like completely. Like now, the 1% own like what is it? Like 50 to 60% of all fucking wealth in the country, right? And the 0.001% own like I can't remember the number. It's a horrible number, right? We're becoming much more unequal, right? And this is their path. Their path is in holding buying stocks, doing these in stocks, like whatever, right? So how do we tax them, brother? If they're accumulating so much fucking wealth in that area, how the fuck do we tax them?
So there are a few different taxes that I would propose. I'm not entirely against just a realized capital gains tax, so they pay capital gains when they realize the gains. There are things
But
like a
there is
land value tax.
loopholes, right? Like
Sure,
buy, borrow, die, like, or
yeah, but
like there are.
I don't like. Again, I think what I'm arguing is that the benefits outweigh the cost of the cost outweigh the benefits for the alternatives. So because if you do anything to stop buy, borrow, die or whatever, you're going to decrease net investment and you're going to decrease long run GDP, and any tax aimed at like taxing these unrealized gains is going to have various other negative effects. I don't think it's going to be very good at raising revenue, but there are a few different taxes that that are proposed that would probably decrease inequality. For example, like a land value tax is a simple one, tax on the value of land. You could have that be very high. It would discourage rich people from land banking. It would encourage building affordable housing, things like that. Yeah. There's something called there are various different types of like consumption taxation, which is taxes consumption regardless of where you got the income from. There are types of progressive consumption taxation, like a Bradford X taxes consumption progressively.
No, I
Yeah,
agree
and
with you
also
on the consumption
I just
tax.
want to
So
mention
these motherfuckers buy a lot of shit, right? So you got to get them there. Like if they buy houses, they buy cars, tax what they're trying to buy, like yachts and whatever. You could.
Well, sure, because
It's a
I
good.
think we should tax what they're trying to buy. We should tax consumption or where people got the money from.
No. But I think
and then
you don't think. Well,
not
I mean,
necessarily
in a
tax
higher rate,
savings.
right?
But,
I would say at a higher rate, like
for progressive,
yes.
I mean, yeah, progressive consumption, yes.
Anyway. Okay.
Also, I just want to mention Austria,
finish
Denmark,
up.
Germany, Finland, Iceland, Luxembourg, Ireland, and Sweden all chose to repeal their wealth taxes.
Yeah, because they're moving. No, but that's a political reason, brother. Because they're moving away from their
Okay.
the neoliberals are.
All right.
Yes,
well, okay. We have a
Could it not-
question. We have
could it
a
not just have
question.
been-
We have a
Okay.
question from the audience. Okay, so the question is, does PPG believe Noam Chomsky has his wealth?
It's no, bro. What the fuck?
Noam
Don't
Chomsky
disrespect Noam
has
Chomsky in front of me, bro.
Noam Chomsky has his wealth held in a trust that helps his inheritors avoid paying maximum amount of taxes
Everybody does
and
that.
avoids probate.
Brother.
Avoiding probate brings privacy
On an individual
to
level,
his.
everybody tries to avoid taxes, including me, right? On an individual level, but
Interesting.
that's beside the point. What we're arguing is actual. I probably shouldn't have said that because the fucking judges. Oh, 3 points, especially potato.
Okay.
But
Well,
everybody
it's
tries
too
to
late
avoid
now.
paying taxes. That's something that you do, but that's the effect. We need an effective state to, like Potato said, a strong IRS, and let's try to find ways that these people cannot avoid taxes. Bless you.
Thank you. Okay, right.
I don't disagree with Nonfront, dude. Nonfront. I thought Nonfront was going to come here and argue for wealth, income, and equality. I was ready for everything.
Next
He's not
question.
arguing for
Here
that.
we go.
His argument is just
Who?
these particular taxes don't work. Yeah,
Okay, so we've
they
got
might not work
brilliant.
in that particular way, dude. Great.
Okay, so we have another question. Okay, so this is going to go over to Nonfon. He's going to have the chance to answer this. Judges, if you're watching this, you should be. You need to give a point to whoever gets this right. You know how this works, okay? So whoever gets it right, you give them a point. Nobody gets it right, no points. Okay, so Nonfon, you've got 30 seconds to ask this question. Who was the Queen of France during the French Revolution?
Queen Victoria.
Wrong. Fucking loser. You suck. Where's my soundboard?
How do you not know
No,
that,
that's the wrong
Marie
one.
Antoinette. Marie
Okay.
Antoinette.
Wait, what did you just say?
Marie Antoinette.
Ding, ding, ding. Okay, here we go.
She
Brilliant.
got her fucking head cut off, dude. How do you not know that? No, Jesus, Nonfront.
I don't know her name.
Okay, so judges, you're going to give him a point for that one. All right. You're going to give Bim a point. Okay, so continue your conversation.
Okay, corporate taxes.
Yeah, what about him?
You think that in America we should cut corporate taxes? Because there's a lot of data that shows that when we have cut corporate taxes, especially Donald Trump's tax cuts, it's been horrible.
I don't think we should cut corporate taxes. I think we should replace them with a destination-based cash flow tax.
Okay, see that then no argument. Then that's it.
Well, hold on, wait,
don't.
hold on.
No, we're
there's a
agreeing.
lot of
No,
things.
because if you do cut them, if you cut them materialistically right now, it leads to horrible outcomes. And I actually have the data,
I don't
brother.
agree with that.
Huh?
Okay, what horrible
No,
outcomes?
it did. Well,
What are the
Donald Trump
horrible
cut the
outcomes?
corporate tax rate. Donald Trump cut the corporate tax rate from 35% to 21%. These corporations who can you say that there's a formation of people, right? And I agree with you, but that doesn't mean shit. Who has the say in that corporation? It's not the fucking worker, brother. It's the management that if it's a public corporation, it's the management cowtailing to the profit motive of the fucking of the whatever the board, or it's a private corporation is the owner, right? And they're both trying to accumulate as much wealth as they could because America has oligopolies and monopolies everywhere, right, in our society. So what they did was fucking buy back their stocks at 60%.
Do you agree or disagree that some of the burden of corporate taxes falls on workers?
It is extremely minimal, dude. Like, not even something that you should bring up, especially with corporations that pay slave labor, dude, like Walmart.
Okay, well, most of the things I've read have not suggested it's extremely minimal. They suggest that it's somewhere between 30 and 40%. Do you agree or disagree that some of the burden or corporate taxes is borne on consumers through higher prices?
Why not? Here, this is where I'm going to pin you down, brother. Why does that happen?
Because you're increasing the cost of production.
Okay, but who gets to decide when who gets to this? Because right now there is corporate record-breaking corporate profit, right? That's a fact. Corporations have
Sure.
earned the most money, right? Yeah. So I'm asking you, who makes that decision to increase consumer goods, the price of consumer goods? The
It
company.
depends on exactly how elastic the demand is. Usually the market plays some impact and the
Are
people
you
who control the
kidding me?
company just
You're
respond to the incentives there. If it's a very inelastic good, then yeah, then the firm has price making power. Or if it's an oligopoly or monopoly, then the firm has more price making power. But it's some combination between the owners of the company and the market feedback structure.
okay. I can grant you that, but at a way higher rate of because I think it's like 70% of all our fucking goods are like it's an oligopoly, like we have because we're so fucking centralized, right? It's around 70 in the 70%. So it is much more these motherfucker greedflation than fucking the free hand of fucking markets or whatever, right? Oh, sure, it's gonna be both, but there is one that's more than the other.
It depends how elastic the demand for the good is. On insulin, I agree with you because the firms have price making
Wait,
power because the demand for insulin is very
you don't
inelastic.
wait. Have you
But with
seen what's
food, the
going on
demand for
with this
food is more elastic.
inflation?
There's more readily available substitutes.
What? What?
What?
No. Okay. Yes, you have choices to eat of different food, but particular food like eggs, the egg companies are completely almost monopolized, brother. I think there's like 2 or 3 fucking companies, right? That own most
Okay,
of our
so wait,
fucking
I'm
eggs.
just super curious. Do you think when the price of eggs go down, do you think that means the corporations are being less greedy?
Mm, I think that what do you mean when it goes down? It hardly goes
I mean,
fuck
like,
it. Well, that's funny that you
we
mention
can look
eggs
at the
because you
graph
guys can look
here.
up. Well,
I'll
no,
send you
you
this
want to look at
graph.
an actual story. Like
We
you
can
want
look at.
to, because
Well, I'm
during
just saying,
COVID they
like, we
raised their
can look at the graph.
prices.
We can literally see the price of eggs going down. I don't
They're
think that you would suggest that means the corporations are being less greedy.
No, it might be that you actually have like a competent fucking government. I would think that would be it. The FTC actually going after fucking these fucking price gouging fucking companies, and they got scared and they lowered the prices to the normal amount. The market, like you said, the market. That's probably what happened. Lena Khan is actually doing her job. That's why everybody fucking hates her.
Um, okay, did they do it with eggs? Can you give me an example of that happening? I'm aware
I
Biden did some things to
Oh no,
stop
I
junk
have it,
fees.
bro. No, they did. No, no,
Okay.
no. Here, I got it. I'll talk to another judge, dude. I'll get this story, bro.
Yeah,
Nobody,
potato.
no, no, no,
This
no.
is the nominal price of eggs. I'm pretty sure this is the nominal price of eggs, not just the rate of
Okay.
price increases.
Yeah, you guys aren't talking to judges, right? You need to leave my judges alone, all right? They are doing a good job. Thank you for your service, judges. You're all doing a good job. Don't listen to these fucking fools. We're just waiting for what are we? Okay, here we go.
Emmy Metz is the president of CEO of American Egg Board, which is one of the companies that I was talking about, an organization that promotes eggs. In March 2024, Metz Fox News egg prices have fluctuated over the past year to the number of factors, including no. I'm sorry, it was the wrong story. This is like I'm trying to get where they caught him literally saying, "No, we're just inflating the prices. We don't give a fuck." Like they literally caught him, dude. I'll get it. It's okay.
Do you agree or disagree that the demand for eggs is probably relatively elastic?
Dumb it down.
So when I say something's elastic, I mean the demand is highly responsive to price changes. So insulin would be an example of a very inelastic good, because no matter how much the price goes up in insulin, you're still going to buy as much insulin as you need, because there aren't readily available substitutes for insulin. You can't just buy a different brand of insulin or whatever, and you need insulin to live. The demand for other things like jelly beans is relatively elastic, because if the price increases in jelly beans, you don't need jelly beans.
Okay, that's what I meant.
What?
Okay, dude. Yes.
Yeah, but eggs have
there is
like
different types of
decently
food.
available substitutes. Like they have good market feedback mechanisms. Like you don't need eggs to
Okay.
live.
That doesn't mean they won't they won't price gouge, which they have, because they have a monopoly on that certain food, right? On the certain fucking consumption.
Yeah, but there are if the demand for food is elastic, the demand for that type of food is elastic and has relatively available
anywhere where you're gonna critique corporations for partaking in these fucking obviously fucking fucked up practices, but instead of saying just buy another food,
would definitely be an example.
this is what you're saying. You're saying
I think there's a lot of rent-seeking behavior
food.
Well, you asked me somewhere I would criticize corporations. I think the pharmaceutical industry would be an example of that, where there's a lot of rent-seeking behaviors by corporations, because they charge way more here for their drugs than they do in comparable countries like Europe, and are still able to turn a profit in countries like Europe. But for demand for goods that are more elastic, I think there's considerably less rent-seeking behavior.
On Tuesday, federal jury in Illinois concluded that along with two egg industry trade groups, those are the ones like the companies below them that move around the eggs, two of the nation's largest egg producers conspired to restrict the availability of eggs to drive up prices. Across the social media, the jury finding was immediately connected to huge spike of price of eggs beginning in the fall of 2022. I knew it, brother. I remember this story. Like the CEO, they caught him on fucking video. We're just gonna inflate our prices.
You need to post any of you guys bring up research or articles. You would do a good job to send it into the chat, into the side chat. Okay,
send it.
Both of you.
Okay, just a little side note to all the retards in the chat who didn't like Joe Biden. Joe Biden is a good president.
Don't start
dude.
talking to fucking chat, you imbecile. Right, we've got a question from chat. Here we go. To Bimmy. All right, Bimmy. Is PPG in favor of mandatory use of central bank issued electronic currency to control people's spending habits and avoid tax fraud from the state budget?
This is a right wing talking point. He's talking shit about the Fed. Listen, man, the Fed is just a tool of the government. If you put somebody good in Elizabeth Warren, dude, in the Fed, she will work for you. It's the same thing with the IRS, the same thing with the fucking FBI, same thing with the CIA. Right? All these fucking institutions, they have a lot of power. But if you get because of the way our elections are funded, you get somebody funded by banksters, they're gonna go and do the bidding of the banksters, dude. It's not a fucking secret. So you want somebody good in the fucking Fed that will work for you, lower interest rates, help you out, etc. Vote for a socialist, dude. There you go.
Brilliant. Okay.
Just real quick, the central bank is independent. Its appointments are made by the president, but there are also private bankers that serve on some of the chapter banks. It's meant to operate as an independent agency. It's only like quasi government. because it has to deal with monetary policy issues. It's never going to be a popular decision to raise interest rates. Yeah, you want it to be politically insulated, and it is to a large extent.
I mean, it is. It is. The head of the all of our institutions are politically it's wild when somebody gets fired or some shit like that for political reasons, right? Like when Donald Trump fired the FBI head, James Comey.
Yeah, but
it
I'm
was
saying like the FBI is a government agency. The Federal Reserve is not a government agency in the same
no,
sense.
but you appoint
it's
you
much more
appoint the
insulated.
head
It's
of the
an
federal
independent.
agency.
Yeah, you do.
You appoint, yeah, and that
president
person
does appoint the
tends
head
to
of the Federal
drive.
Reserve.
Yeah, and that person drives. I mean, it should be because we live in a democracy, and you should appoint somebody that's gonna whatever they voted
Well,
for.
the
A
argument
Democrat,
against
he's
this is
gonna
that politicians have what's called a pro-inflationary bias. They're never going to want to raise interest rates because it's very politically unpopular to raise
I
interest
mean,
rates, especially
you're-
now that people care so much about mortgage rates. Plus, politicians always have if they were able to control the Fed more directly, they would be able to say, "I'm just going to print money and give it to everyone," and people would vote for them, not
we're
understanding the
doing that
negative
now,
consequences.
brother. We're doing that now. The fuck?
Yeah, but the decision is being made by the Federal Open Market Committee, which is just a board made up of economists. It's not that influenced by the president.
Look, man,
By the
you
way,
have-
Nonfon, you were supposed to respond to that as well. So, do you want me to repeat the question?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's right about what he said, but he's wrong about what he said.
Are you gonna shut your mouth?
Political...
Can you shut the fuck
Okay.
up? Right. So, is PPG in favor of mandatory use of central bank issued electronic currency to control people's spending habits and avoid tax fraud from the state budget? I mean, the question is asking you whether PPG is in favor. Okay, so does it feel like he would be in favor of that Nonfon?
It's a stupid question. I don't know. Yeah, it's not fun, dude. I don't know how to answer that.
I don't have that
an
strong opinion
unbelievable
about it.
hypothetical.
Okay, brilliant.
Dude.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
there you go, Hassan. That's it. PPG, the
retard.
really concerned, included in my question. Okay, thank you.
Wait, can I bring in the fucking the Marxist again? I want his take on the Fed.
You
because
need to
he
shut the fuck up on addressing my judges. Leave my fucking judges out of this. Okay, we've got another question. So the question is to Nonfon. What is smoother, Bimmy's forehead or his brain?
You fucking little bitches.
Listen,
You
I
fucking
really want
little
to say
bitches.
I really want to say his brain. I really do. But he is voting for Kamala, and you guys won't do that. So I'm gonna have to go with his forehead. Like, yeah.
Yes, let's fucking go. Okay, brilliant. So we got the fucking questions out. Did you see my direct question? I did, Nadar. I did. Let me get a chance considering this fucker.
You
fucked
dumbass.
Up. What the fuck is it, Hassan? You keep telling me. You asked me a question. I've asked it twice to both contestants. Both of them answered. I don't know what else you want from me. Do you want a fucking blowjob or something? I'm not giving you one. All right? We've got plenty of people in here. They would gladly give you a blowjob. See? There's one.
Kamala Harris is gonna win. Kamala Harris is gonna win. You guys are fucking stupid. Get in the Kamala train. She picked an actual progressive for once ever. This motherfucker since like fucking Henry Wallace in the fucking 40s is the most progressive vice president in American history. Stop being retarded. Don't vote for the dog eater, dude.
Excuse me, Bimmy. What does this have to do with the fucking debate at hand?
I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you
I'm
better be
telling
fucking
everyone,
sorry.
so
Nobody cares. Shut your mouth, all right? Engage with your opponent. You need to.
Okay,
trust me.
Corporate taxes. When we had high corporate taxes, now you can argue that maybe those weren't the things that were affecting, whatever, the economic growth or the whatever, all the good things that were happening during this era. But I mean, are you going to argue against it? Because I have my arguments. Fucking Donald Trump's corporate tax cut. And by the way, dude, you're a Joe Biden supporter. You know that he raised corporate taxes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you don't like that, dude?
I mean, I am not necessarily against raising. I think he raised the highest marginal rate on capital gains taxes. I don't think that's a big deal. I'd probably be slightly in favor of that. The corporate tax stuff, I just don't think corporate tax is a good tax. I think it should be replaced with destination-based cash flow tax. But yeah, I just want to
see, but that's like, to me, that is fantasy shit, right? Because what you're talking about, if you didn't have a plan in place, would you just end all corporate tax rate? I wouldn't fucking do that. There's evidence that it shows that it's horrible, right?
I don't know if I would repeal all corporate taxes if there wasn't a plan in place. That's why, like, the debate prompt is raising high corporate taxes is a detrimental economic policy. I'm just against raising them to high rates. Yeah,
Like 50%. What do
50%
you think about
I'd be against.
50%?
Yes, I think
When-
there's no
when-
argument they should go over 35%, which I think is about where they're at.
No, they're 21.
21.
Donald
Okay.
Trump fucking lowered them. It doesn't matter. Corporations avoid taxes anyway with all kinds of loopholes. Effectively, the effective rate that they pay is 15%. So it's fucked,
Wow,
dude.
true. You know, as a lower avoidance, yeah, destination-based cash flow tax. Anyway,
Okay,
um,
I agree with what you're saying. I agree with what you're trying to say. I thought you were coming here and argue wealth, income, inequality, dude. Like it's fine. No, it isn't. You're arguing just the tax itself. That's why you don't like the tax.
Yes, Bimmy,
Unrealized gains.
that
I'm not
is
even gonna
the
argue
prompt,
it.
Bimmy.
Okay,
Correct.
I'm not
Correct.
gonna argue unrealized gains. Wealth tax. I think that we haven't implemented. Corporate tax. I think you're wrong, brother, and I think history proves you wrong.
okay. Having high corporate taxes doesn't preclude high economic growth. Those two can coexist. That's possible. However, high corporate taxes probably, well, I shouldn't say probably, they decrease investment, which decreases long run growth. That's the argument.
Like I don't know why you say that, brother. Because when the
Because you
Trump
decrease.
tax
Did we
cut,
already
hold on.
agree?
No. When the Trump tax cuts were implemented, 60% of the fucking wealth that the corporations got from their tax cuts, they just bought back their stocks. That's not investment. That's just giving money to shareholders.
I mean, well, okay. The argument for that is that if these corporations saw a better place to invest, then they would have invested that money because that helps them in the long run. In the short run, inflating your stock price doesn't actually do anything. But
The victim mentality.
regardless,
Yeah.
you've already.
Don't.
How's that victim mentality?
That's victim mentality, man. And like that's say it again.
Okay, if these corporations saw a better place to put the money, they would have done it. They would have done it that way. Buybacks are a nice way to reward your shareholders. It incentivizes more shareholders to come in at some point because they feel confident that the stock price will rise. If they saw a place to expand, to actually invest, they would have done that because that is what's most beneficial for their long run growth.
This
That's the
mindset that you
argument for
have,
stock
do you
buybacks.
know that it leads to the bottom of it's the race to the bottom, right? You don't know that? Like when you chase, you're talking about chasing profit no matter what, dude, right? That's what you basically
Well,
said.
I think the profit incentive sets up. I think it has good incentives for
Will
people.
not these investors will not invest in this company because or wherever if the company's in California, right? Or whatever, the United States, you have high corporate tax rate, then these investors will not invest. Then don't invest, dude. Why do you have to tell, brother? Capital, you don't have to tell to these cocksuckers because if there's profit to make, if your argument, if there's profit to make, there's always gonna be a person. There's always gonna be a person trying to make money. That's how capitalism works. When
I
you kowtow to
understand
the
in your magical
okay,
world, decreasing the amount of financial capital has no negative effects. It somehow doesn't negatively affect long run growth. But in the real world, if you decrease the amount of financial capital available, you decrease investment, you decrease the entrepreneurship, you decrease all these things, which end up harming long run growth.
you're wrong about the entrepreneurship bullshit, by the way.
What do you
Higher
mean?
again, dude. Historically wrong. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna go into
Oh my God.
history. No, because you're wrong. Because when we had a higher tax
Go,
rate, you
Bimmy.
had the most small businesses.
Wait, do you
fucking-
agree? Do you
You had
agree
a
or disagree
an
that
extreme
decreasing
boom of small businesses, brother. The record, the actual record, dude. So what you just said right now is completely wrong. You're cowtailing to a couple of capitalists, brother. They're not. What is this? Like, it's victim mentality,
Okay.
dude.
Two things. One, do you agree or disagree that decreasing the amount of financial capital decreases the amount of startups that can succeed?
Well, under our system right now, you can make that argument, but there are many factors in our society that can change that. You can subsidize working people. You can give us, why we had the most economic, the most startups. I mean, it's not startups, but fucking small business boom during the 1950s. It was the GI Bill of Rights. There was a lot of people who went to war and they are subsidized their college, housing, loans that they take out, etc. And they what they did with that fucking wealth, right? Subsidy is just wealth given to you, dude. They started businesses. So there's many ways to kill to many other ways to then just kowtow to your masters, dude. I don't get it.
Okay. Do you agree or disagree that decreasing
Gonna
the
jump off a
after-tax
bridge.
return of investment discourages that investment?
Into a lake.
Look, you're like pinning me down to argue free market fucking talking points. If you in our current market system, yes, dude. Yes. If there's no other factor that can intervene, then yes.
Okay, hold on. Let me write that down. After-tax return.
Okay, while you're on that, or do you have anything else to add
I
on
want
to this?
Potato King's-
No, Potato King is done. He's already asked this question. The next judge, the last judge is coming up. He's going to be the
Tito's a
last
pussy.
to ask his question. So if you guys are done wrapping this section up, then we're going to
Sorry,
bring
dude, but
in...
my nephews are here and I gotta keep an eye on them. Like I'm the only one here, so I'll be back.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay. Go. Oh, he's already gone. Why am I a distraction? I'm muted. I don't know, man. I don't know. He just loves you so much. I don't know what it is. He's infatuated with you. Regarding Warren, wealth, tax plan. Well, how's it going, Nonfon?
I mean, it's going good, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than my debate with him. At this point, I was already basically pulling my hair out, so I can't blame you.
Yeah.
I can't blame you. You seem like you're holding up well. It seems like you came prepared today. How long have you been studying for this?
I think I did like 2 days of actual reading, and that's it.
Like not
Actually,
like
not
back to back.
No, not back to back because I've been lazy.
Oh,
I
okay.
haven't even been editing my fucking YouTube videos, dude.
Wait, you edit YouTube videos? Holy shit.
Yeah, from my channel. Yeah.
Last time I posted a video was probably like a month and a half ago. That shit's wild. Holy fuck. The boss. I think one of the various breaks would be an okay time to ask my question, but you're the boss. What question? Oh, the timed question? Oh, right. Yeah, true. We could. But we're going to bring in Stranger. He's going to ask his last question, and then timed questions will come at the end. Yeah. No worries, man. I haven't forgotten. Wait, have I got... Yeah, I've got one of you. To Nonfon at the end of the debate. Okay, yeah, I've got it. I've got it in front of me. I did follow Nonfon. Let's see where it goes. Okay, good. Go ahead and follow Nonfon.
Nonfon's gay.
You're gay. Okay, right.
I'm not
So,
gay.
Stranger, get your ass in here, boy. And you've got a question to ask the debaters. And once again, whether they choose to continue the conversation down that line, they can do so. So go ahead, Stranger.
How is wealth tax different from income tax?
Who asked me?
is
You're
a-
asking both of us?
Yeah, non-fun, go ahead first.
Okay, income tax is just a tax on your taxable income, the amount of like regular dollars you bring home. And wealth tax is taxed on your net assets. So that includes all the stocks you own, it includes all the homes you own, it includes all of these assets that you own, it includes even the businesses you own. You could, in theory, exempt them. Some European countries exempt them. It includes everything you own. It's your total net worth. Income tax is just the normal, everyday, regular salary that you bring home. This is why a bunch of CEOs take like $1 salaries and then get paid in stock, because they're only taxed on that $1 as their salary. That's their only taxable income, and the rest of this is just stocks that are then taxed only when they realize the capital gains on them, which usually they don't realize them. They wait till they die.
Okay, Bimmy.
There isn't, dude. A wealth tax is a tax on wealth, whether it comes to income or the way Nonfron said. I mean, it's in the fucking description, brother. Wealth tax. It only goes to the wealthy, whether you accumulate it through wealth or through having your money in stocks.
Okay, this is your last chance to engage with one another on this topic, and then you can take it wherever you want. Yeah. Non-fun, do you have anything to reply to him?
On that, no.
No. Okay, so you guys have pretty much killed the horse already. What is the saying? Don't beat a dead horse. Yeah. Okay. Brilliant.
Can
Right.
we talk about like trade or whatever?
Yes.
We'll do
Taking
that
trade.
later. If we,
all right.
I
Wait,
don't care about
one that
trade
you
right now. It's
probably
not a
could
good
bid me. One that you could probably let's real fast because this one I don't care to debate, but we could do it just to kill time for the 2
Don't
hour
worry
mark.
about killing time. We've
Well,
got
we don't need
questions
to
and
kill
everything.
time.
Yeah. If you guys
Yeah.
are
Non-
like,
n-
if
what is it? Not non-profit.
if
What are
you
they called?
have if you have further questions and you want to ask
Co-ops.
each other, if you want to ask each other more questions or like engage with one another, feel free to do so. The floor is still open. We will be going to time questions shortly, though. So if you're done, we can just go to time questions. If you're
It's up to Nonfon, whatever he wants.
I mean, I'm ready for closings if we or time questions
do
I
it.
guess,
Yep.
and then closings.
Yep, we will do time questions and then we'll go to the closings. Yep. Bimmy, you okay with that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, right. So we're going to give up to, okay, Nonfon, just give us your closing statements.
Okay. During this debate, PPG has conceded to a few different things. Wealth taxes increased the incentive for capital flight. His only evidence against that was that in Massachusetts, they raised the top marginal rate on income, which is not a wealth tax, it's a income tax. But income tax taxes people less than a wealth tax does, because the wealth tax is yearly and it stops you money from compounding, and it's a higher percentage of your income. If you get like a 5% return on investments every year, but the wealth tax is 3%, effectively 60% of your income is being taxed. He agreed that wealth taxes have higher avoidance. He agreed that wealth taxes decrease investment. Wealth and corporate taxes, I believe he said, decrease investment. But magically, he believes that doesn't decrease GDP. He agreed that decreasing financial capital decreases the number of startups that succeed. And he said that decreasing the after-tax return on investment decreases the number of people willing to make that investment. We didn't get super heavy into the revenue side, but he did agree to all these administrative difficulties with wealth taxes, and that wealth taxes were harder to avoid. So I would assume that he would concede that at least that wealth taxes are not going to be a super great effective mechanism for raising revenue. I think all of these things make wealth taxes not worth their economic cost. He conceded on unrealized gains taxes, corporate taxation. He mentioned he agreed with many of these things, that they decrease investment, and some of the incidence falls on workers. He mentioned that the incidence falls on workers as well as consumers through higher prices. I think both of those make the increasing corporate taxes not worth the economic cost. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you, Nonfon. Bimmy.
That was one way to put. Okay, he said that I didn't agree. Well, I said, well, the reason we haven't now, as of now, wealth of flight has been debunked. It's a myth. It's a myth. Of course you have marginal wealth flight, but that's bullshit. What you're passing an economic whatever tax raise or whatever, and the net income is that they don't leave. We haven't done a wealth tax in America, dude. We haven't done one, so we don't know. I didn't fucking say that. I didn't say what he just said. Anyway, corporate taxes, I didn't concede shit, dude. I said there. Of course, if you tax corporations, because of the power structure of the corporation, you're gonna have the workers be affected, right? And he fucking agreed that because we have oligopolies, monopolies or oligopolies in our society, they get to raise their prices, dude. This is the victim mentality. Well, if we raise your prices, we'll just put it on the consumer. That's what you do. You price control, which has worked in America, by the way, dude. Right? So I don't know what the fuck we could have gotten revenue. I like revenue. we didn't get to it. Whatever. Unrealized gains is something that I honestly didn't know about, so I wasn't even going to debate it. But the corporate tax, you can't just get rid of it in America. You can't, brother. You can't. And now he might disagree that it's a bad tax. Well, history proves you wrong. And when you lower the corporate tax rate, then you have horrible outcomes. And I brought up the Trump tax cuts, dude, which have had horrible outcomes in America, materialistically, dude. If you do it now, you would have stock buybacks. wealth, wealth income inequality. And then his argument was that, well, those people who, the shareholders, they get to put their money, even if you try to implement an economic policy like no more stock buybacks, well, they're just going to leave. That's his argument. It's a victim mentality, dude. It's the victim mentality. Don't do it because we're just going to go somewhere else. You don't kowtow to these people, bro. You don't. This is stupid. This is a race to the bottom. This is trickle-down economics, dude. You don't do this. This has been debunked. This fucking type of economic system has been debunked. Anyway.
Okay, right. So
I don't know what we're doing with trickle-down economics. I didn't even mention the Laffer curve once, bro. But
well, you're effectively arguing for trickle-down economics, dude. Like when
Definitely.
you say that
I
you
just-
should kowtow for, that's what you mean. You mean that, well, you want this investment, they're not going to invest. They're trickling down upon you if you fucking.
Okay. Just real quick,
What do you mean?
it should be noted that wealth taxes are also taxes on unrealized gains. Wealth taxes tax people's unrealized gains. Secondly, Bimmy, are you in favor of rent control?
Rent control by itself, no. This is the problem with
Okay,
rent control by itself is a band-aid. But if you put rent control with like public housing, yes. And Vienna proves it.
Okay.
Vienna, we have evidence, dude. Vienna has rent control and public housing, which has been a complete success. They're one of the most affordable big cities in the world. So I don't know. We could have
Wait,
another
you know
one
what
about rent
crowding out
control.
is?
Brother. I don't. Let's just, who cares? The judges, dude. We'll talk about that sometime.
Yeah, just let it go to the judges or the questions. or whatever.
no, tell us, Nonfon. I'm curious.
Well, I mean, I was just proving that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay, crowding out is
Okay,
basically
why?
when government investment crowds out. It slows down private investment. So the argument is doing social housing will crowd out private spending in housing construction. There's empirical data to back this up. In France, one unit of social housing crowded out 2 units of private housing. So although 1 unit of social housing was built, if that government money wasn't used to build housing, essentially bidding away resources from private housing companies, there would have actually been 2 houses, dwellings built.
You know what's worse? Being fucking homeless, dude. If you kowtow to the private industry, you're gonna have massive homelessness, like America, dude. I would
Okay.
rather have the Vienna model, dude. Wait, no, and you brought up an
I don't think
extremely
you understood what I
cherry-picked
just said.
instance. Wait, hold on.
I don't think you understood
I
what I
understand
said.
exactly what you just said, dude. The government is outbidding the fucking private, whatever. So you're not gonna have innovation or whatever the fuck you're talking about, right? Sure, but you know what people care about? People like in the majority of people just having fucking housing, dude. So good, fuck it, get rid of the private sector.
Yeah, but you understand you're reducing the supply of housing with this, right? Because you're crowding out private housing investment. I just said in this example,
Wait.
one social house
You gave me an
crowded out 2
extremely
private
cherry-picked. I
houses.
know you gave me an extremely cherry-picked fucking
Not like
version
an
of
exa- I
what
mean,
you're
we
trying
can
to
probably
crowd me
pull up
in.
the study
I
if
could
we
give
want
you
to,
Vienna. I could give you Finland, right? Or I could give you, you know what? I could give you the Soviet Union, brother. Because the Soviet
Bro.
Union just had pure public housing, and there was very little to no homelessness, dude. What is the point of housing? It's just to fucking be housed, right?
Wait,
The more
what?
you kowtow, this is the victim mentality, brother. If you kowtow to the private industry, you're gonna have 500 to 600,000 homeless people in America, dude. Great, that's what you want. I don't want that, brother. I don't advocate for homeless people. I advocate for people having housing.
Why wouldn't we A, institute a land value tax, and B, subsidize the development of affordable housing?
Because that happens in America now, dude. We have like
Don't have a land value
non-profit
tax.
fucking groups. No. We don't have that. But what you're talking about, subsidize, using subsidies like non-profits and say, oh, we're gonna build housing.
Not
It's
nonprofits,
complete
government
dog shit.
subsidies. We pay companies to build affordable housing, which to an extent I think we actually do, but
we do. We literally do. It doesn't work. You know what happens? What happens, dude?
well, it depends on exactly what program.
What happens when you give a private company money, dude?
So the big issue right now is that some programs, I believe, have companies do it on a cost plus basis. So companies get paid to build affordable homes on the amount that they spend to build the home plus an extra 10% as their profit, right? The issue with this is that companies will artificially inflate the price of the construction and then just collect the extra profit. It's guaranteed
That's what
money.
happens
There's not
when
incentives.
you
What we
have
should have
something
is we
like
should have we should have companies compete for contracts to build affordable homes. So companies are actually competing.
Every
for
single
prices to be
solution
low.
that you have is in the private sector, dude. You can't. Why don't we just get rid of the fucking private market, dude? When it comes to housing is it's a living issue, brother. It's something that we all need, right? To survive. Why do we need to have a private fucking industry for fucking housing?
Because private companies typically have better incentives to reduce cost.
Wait, what? What? Wait, if you have a society with housing for all, dude, and you reduce costs, how?
The government does not necessarily have a incentive to reduce cost or operate super efficiently because they're not penalized for being unprofitable. Private companies are penalized for being unprofitable or operating inefficiently. So that's the reason that private companies are typically more efficient there.
Okay, brilliant. Okay.
You know who disagrees with you? The fucking the
Chomsky,
USSPS.
Okay. Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
We subsidize that.
Yeah,
But it's also
according to Nonfon,
arguably a
according to
natural
Nonfon,
monopoly. But
he wants to. It is a state monopoly, sure. But according to Nonfront, he wants to give it while you receive your mail, if you're an American, to fucking Amazon because it produces less cost and it's more efficient. And that's basically what you just said about housing, brother. No, it doesn't actually, dude. I don't know. We can have another debate about housing, actually. 'cause I
Okay,
know a lot about
yes,
housing.
exactly.
Let's do it.
We can have another debate
Holy
about
shit.
housing.
No, but he says something stupid because
Okay.
the government doesn't do things for profit. This is stupid.
Okay. All
He
right.
was completely lying.
I'm not here to argue. All right. Awesome.
Okay.
Given that we have established, okay, so this is to Nonfon, all right? Given that we have established a wealth tax and estate tax, prompt capital flight, under your scheme of political systems, how would you reduce inequality with minimal impact to economy in one policy?
in one
Yes,
policy, it would
yes.
probably be a land value tax. And also, I don't think estate taxes increase capital flight that much because they only are taxed when you die, and it's lower than other taxes. So I don't think estate taxes necessarily increase capital flight, but it'd have to be a land value tax because the rich disproportionately own land, and I believe we should tax economic rents from land. And the supply of land is perfectly inelastic, so it doesn't really have any distortionary effects. And it incentivizes the building of affordable housing because if you're taxed on the value of land, you are incentivized to use the land most productively. Therefore, you want to build as many homes as possible on that land to be able to afford the tax on that land. Yeah.
Okay. Bimmy, you can also respond if you want. Oh, Bimmy's chair can respond. What say you, Bingo? I heard you had a long travel from a distant place far away where people gather and they sit and play a game called Bingo. It's a game for those who don't know. It's where you've got like a room, okay? And in that room, there are like a lot of people and they all sit around. They usually consist of like 50 to like 80-year-olds or 90 even. And a couple of retards will probably be there as well on occasion. And usually what will happen is there will be somebody at the front of it and they will be spinning a wheel and then balls like rotate and then they get spat out. And then you have to match the numbers and then you go, once you match all of them, you go bingo.
You're gay.
Okay,
Who's
brilliant.
spitting out the numbers?
Okay,
The balls?
so we've got one more question and then we're going to take it over to the judges. Okay, so does PPG, this is to both of you, does PPG deserve to be punished by the judges for every moment he deliberately conflates wealth tax with income tax?
It's again, dude.
What do you think?
This
What
tax
say you?
only attacks wealthy. Massachusetts calls it a wealth tax. It was given to the people of Massachusetts as a wealth tax. It's just a definition. FDR's wealth tax in the 1930s, if you want to play rank, right, was a wealth on income. It was a wealth on income because that's how it was just on the wealthy itself, guys. On the wealthy, on the very wealthy. Back then, we were much more income-based society. Now we're different. Our society has changed. But it doesn't take away from being only affecting the wealthy. I don't understand how you don't understand this shit.
There you go, Hassan. You have your answer. You wanted to know all this time. Nonfon, go ahead.
I mean, if I was judging, I don't know if I'd punish him, but I would give me points for claim proven on the income versus wealth tax every time that happened.
Do I get to
Okay.
answer? Please, somebody let me
Sure.
answer. Wait, can I? Are you sure
Yes,
about that,
I
Bimmy?
hereby give you permission to
Okay.
answer.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Fuck it.
Don't do it.
You sound
Okay.
gay.
All right. Okay, right. So let's go over to judges. Yeah. So judges, you're not muted. Feel free to come and not come like that.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
no.
Let me guess,
Alright, it's
Nader.
about
Let me guess Nader's
goddamn
number.
time.
Not that type of coming, Nadar. Put it away. We've talked about this. Okay, brilliant. So it's not. These are the wrong scores, guys. Don't get ahead of yourselves. Right. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna give me Nonfon's score. All right. Oh, sorry. Go ahead and add the bonus points, judges. So you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna add 2 points to whoever you feel represented their overall position in the debate the best. Okay. So either 2 to Nonfon or 2 to Bimmy. And then once you're ready, you have your final score. Go ahead and give me Nonfon's score. All of you. First Nonfon, then Bimmy. Okay. So, who's ready? Any one of you?
All right.
All right, Nadar.
I have a score for non-fun at an 18.
18? And
That's pretty
Bimmy?
low, man.
Bimmy?
Yeah, and Bimmy?
I
0.
have a score for Bimmy of 3.
Wow. Thank you, Nader.
Holy shit. 3. A whole 3 points. Holy fuck.
Nader is a conservative, brother.
All right, that's
What can we say?
the excuse. Okay, brilliant. Right, so let's take it over to Stranger. Stranger, go ahead.
So I gave Non-Fawn a score of 22.
That's a lot. I think that's
Okay.
game.
And Bimmy?
And I gave Bimmy a score of 11.
Thank you.
Ooh. Sheesh, Bimmy, what did you do, motherfucker? Holy
lost
shit,
the turbo,
you
dude.
suck! You're so bad at this
lost the
fucking
turbo.
game. You
I
lost.
lost it
It's
too.
okay, Bimmy. I
was
still love you,
coming in
Bimmy.
here.
Okay.
You
Thank
lose
you,
to
man.
everybody.
I was gonna come into this shit. I was like, the list is. I wasn't worrying about the debate.
All right.
I was wanted. To
You know what?
fucking
I'm gonna have
throw
something to say.
anyway.
I'm gonna have something to say at the end of it. But let's go ahead. Let's
I wanna hear it.
let's
I wanna hear it.
let's put Patate. Go ahead.
Okay, so I want to clarify. Despite the fact that I'm a Marxist, I came in here as a neutral perspective. For Bimmy,
No,
I gave-
non-fon first. Non-fon.
For Nonfron,
Yeah.
I gave them a 10.
A 10. Okay. And then for Bimmy.
Bimmy came out with a 4.
Holy shit. By
Potatoes
unanimous
over, dude.
decision, Nonfon is the winner. Holy fuck. Okay, so that's
Wait,
2x
no, I actually
his
want to hear it
points.
from Potato though, because
But before
I wanna
he
see what
goes,
Potato disagreed with
okay,
what I said.
let them go. I'll say it at the end. Okay, go ahead, guys. Judges, give your clarification for why you scored the way you did.
Most of the reason that Bimmy lost so many points was I did exactly what was suggested the entire time. Every time he mischaracterized wealth tax for income
Wealth tax
I deducted
not
a point
getting-
for being bad.
Same,
my
Nader,
God.
same.
Or point not proven. I'm sorry, not bad.
Guys,
point not proven.
guys, that definition is wrong.
No,
and I said if you
that-
want
No,
to
it's not. It's
wrong.
not.
That is literally
Yes,
the
it
You
definition.
are wrong.
That is the definition of a wealth tax.
Okay.
Yeah.